Hi everyone, I'm the BTS Trader. I test market data to help you make better trading decisions. Today we're going to see if a simple Bollinger Band strategy works on 10 years of data in the SPY. But before we begin, please hit the like and subscribe button. So once again, we're in multi-charts, and let me show you what I mean by a simple Bollinger Band strategy. If you saw my first video on should you buy the dip, it actually is very similar to that strategy. So the rule is, if the close crosses over the lower Bollinger Band, we buy on the next bar market, which means that the close has to have previously been below the Bollinger Band. And to go short, we basically take the inverse, so which means if the close crosses under the upper band, we sell short at market. So right now I'm in Portfolio Trader using in multi-charts. I'll say it again, I'm not actually endorsing multi-charts, I'm just using the trial version of it. So this is how it's set up. Here it is. We are using commissions and we're doing 100 shares. It's going to be basically 10 years of data on exchange time. And from my previous experience, I know that Bollinger Bands actually need to be tested on different time frames. So you can see I have it from as low as 5 minutes all the way to up to 1 day. Just to let you know, this is actually much faster than if you originally run it. When you originally run it, you have to download a whole bunch of data, and it actually takes maybe 10-15 minutes to run the whole thing. Okay, so you can see easily that once again, working off of the 5 minute time frame, well, let's just say specifically on this classic Bollinger Band strategy, does not work. So once again, trying to day trade, especially using Bollinger Band strategy, is a losing proposition, at least for the last 10 years. You can see, especially since SPY really just goes up, you can see that you're just losing on the short trades and you're barely making money on these long trades. Yeah, this should be pretty horrible, of course. I mean, it's not a winning strategy. So a lot of trades. I know a lot of people don't pay commission, but if you're trading this, you're going to be paying commissions for real. You can't, this type of strategy, well, let's say you would generally be running off of like a systems trading like this, and you would generally be paying some kind of commission. And you can see even on your winning trades, you're only making $2.91. So basically absolutely untradeable. And just a whole bunch of losers. I mean, 1 year, you managed to somehow make money, which I'm actually surprised, I'll be honest. But you can see just year after year of losers are essentially break even. So you can see I kind of ran this test on kind of weird time frames like 55, 60, 65, 70. And that's because I had originally did kind of the more standard time frames, but I saw that I believe it was either 60 or 70 minutes that was giving me the biggest net profit. And so I wanted to test the time frames right around there to see if there was some kind of stability to that. And as you can kind of see, there is a level of stability to around this area, this 60 to, let's say, 75. Even though I like to joke that we like to see big numbers, I'm actually not going to go into this 60-minute time frame. And it's because if you see 55 minutes, I mean, it's from 6,000 to 21,000. That's a big jump, which means is that this is kind of an area of instability, as they would say. And so we'll just hit this 70-minute because you can kind of see it's right in the middle, and it has 339 trades. So we'll hit the 70-minute. And you can see that a couple of losing years, we'll call this break even, but overall profitable, right? So I think the last trading the 5 minute chart, we had what, $2 something per average trade. Well, now we're up to $152. So at least that part becomes a lot more tradable, but we still have a negative Sharpe ratio. So, but as you can guess, this is not, but actually this is an important part. This strategy by itself is probably, not ready to go. This is like I said, I'm just trying to give you back tests to see what might be tradable or help you develop a strategy. And I could tell you right now that this strategy by itself is not good enough. And that's just because of this, annualized Sharpe ratio. As usual, going short in the SPY, very difficult, extremely difficult. But our long trades, 78% profitable. That's, as you can guess, I mean, this is historical, but that looks good. I like that, right? It's hard not to like that. Okay, so because I know that going short in a SPY is very difficult, or it's very difficult to find a strategy that works going short in a SPY, I'm actually going to change this strategy to where it only goes long, and instead of selling short, it's just gonna exit the long position. Okay, so here's the back test where we don't sell short, but we just exit the long position, but still using the Bollinger Band strategy. As you can see, it's much better. Going short in the SPY is just very, very difficult. I know people who do it. In fact, my brother does it, and he seems to, I don't know, he seems pretty good at it. But for me, at least in terms of back testing, I just would never do it. Once again, you can see that these 5 or 15 minutes, like quote unquote day trader time frames, even though they're not losers anymore, they are our least profitable time frames. We could really see that the strategy becomes fairly consistent once we get into, let's say, 45 minutes and above. Since this strategy seemed to work decently well on the 70-minute time frame, but with going short, let's just see the 70 minutes with the just long variation. So as you can guess, we're still have that high percentage of profitability. Let's see the Sharpe ratio. We're at least positive. Still not good enough, but at least it's something to work off of. We didn't look at the equity curve before, but this is usually just how it looks when you're trading the SPY. Well, trading the SPY somewhat successfully, I should say. So 170 trades, still basically right around that average trade of $150. The only thing that's probably not so great is the average number of bars in the winning trade is a lot less than, is basically half that of the number of bars in a losing trade. And here we could see that the annual return is pretty good. I mean, we call this break even. This is maybe not break even, but it's pretty close. And then this is, of course, just a real loser of a year. And I would suspect that's the March 2020 that really messed that up. But you can see the percentage of profitability is pretty decent throughout this whole year, right? I mean, 100% from 11 trades this year. Like I said, don't trade this. Even though you see that, because look at here. I mean, just in 2018, it was 56%. Okay, so don't be fooled by this 100% this year. I mean, really, don't be fooled, because things tend to revert. Everything tends to revert. To put things into perspective, I also ran this on GBTC, which is the Bitcoin ETF. And you could basically see that it doesn't work basically on any time frame. So, I mean, it does somewhat work on the 60-minute. I guess we'll head into that. This is a real good example of how like certain trading strategies can work at one time and then stop working at other times. So for example, it definitely didn't work here on this 37 unprofitable 2007 2015. And yeah, it does seem to be working better here in this 2021. But just a reminder, it doesn't work on the 45-minute time frame. It doesn't work on the 90-minute time frame. So trading this strategy on the 60-minute is very risky because there is no real stability around here. But we might as well look at the trade analysis since we already ran the test. 108 trades, 108 short trades. Average win $22. Not very tradable in a way, I feel. As you can guess, terrible Sharpe ratio. For me, not worth the risk at all. And you can even see this kind of buy and hold return. I mean, there's really no benefit to trading the Bollinger Band strategy on GBTC. But the real main point is the Bollinger Band strategy is not some kind of magical strategy that you can apply to every instrument out there. In fact, here you can see it simply does not work. So I also ran the strategy in the IWM, which is the Russell 2000 ETF. As you can see, so this strategy is actually the long only strategy where instead of selling short, you're just exiting the long position. Because I also know that the IWM, it generally has a long bias, at least more recently. So doing the selling short is also very difficult. And once again, you can see that what's pretty consistent is obviously trading 5-minute charts is very hard, extremely hard. Or basically day trading is very hard / almost impossible. And then interestingly enough, but I kind of knew this to be honest, is that the better performance is actually coming out in 90 minutes, where in the SPY we had, it was like around 60 to 70 minutes. No, actually I should say that the best performance is occurring around 95 minutes, but then again, you can see this drop off. So generally I would trade the 90-minute instead if I were to develop the strategy further. But it really goes to show you how the Bollinger Band strategy is it really depends on the time frame you're using. So you can't really just, randomly use the Bollinger Band strategy, especially on like a 5-minute chart, 15-minute chart, 30-minute chart, and expect it to work. That's kind of the unfortunate part about especially learning the Bollinger Band strategy on YouTube. They'll kind of tell you certain things, but they probably don't tell you one of the most important thing is that it doesn't work on every single instrument. Actually, it might not work on a lot of instruments. It's very instrument dependent. And B, it doesn't really exactly work on every single time frame. So there you go. We see that the Bollinger Band strategy doesn't work very well on very short time frames such as the 5-minute chart or basically day trading charts. But interestingly enough, if you use a Bollinger Band strategy in the daily or weekly chart, it doesn't work that well either. The sweet spot definitely seems to be around 60 to 70-minute bar charts. But once again, I need to remind you that this isn't really a complete strategy. This is just simple back testing of a very simple Bollinger Band strategy. And as usual, SPY has shown that it really just goes up because going short in the SPY is very difficult, especially with the Bollinger Band strategy. Once we stopped going short, we find that most metrics of our strategy improved a lot, especially our Sharpe ratio. Then we saw that the Bollinger Band strategy isn't some kind of magical strategy. It definitely doesn't work in GBTC. Not only that, but it seems to be a very time-dependent strategy, so you can't just trade the Bollinger Band strategy on any time frame. Please hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll see you next time.